The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Knapik. Here it is, show number 533. We're so thankful that you're joining us here today, right here in Houston or wherever you may be. Once again, show number 533. We have great real estate professionals right here and even some of our Stewart associates. So let's get started right now as we welcome Jamie Bertrand. The company is Elite Real Estate Service. Jamie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, here you are. It's going to be a lot of fun because you have so much information right here in Houston, but also you have a knowledge of another very important real estate market. So first, let's tell people about your company.
So we are headquartered in Missouri City. Our office is on Knights Court. We do residential and commercial. I actually started as a commercial agent, and then I expanded to residential. So we do have a diverse clientele that we service.
And right there, Missouri City. Someone listening from afar might think that's in Kansas, but it's not.
Missouri City, Texas.
There you go.
MCTX.
Actually, it sounds like the Wild West a little bit.
It does,
but
doesn't it?
Anyway, Missouri City is a great area because those listening from afar, it's on the southwest side, and it really from that southwest area, you can get to all the parts of Houston, right?
Right. Yes, we are. I like to call it centrally located. We are where my part of Missouri City. We are off of the Fort Bend Toll, so you can go 288, 59, 610. It's centrally located. It's about 15, 20 minutes from everything: the Galleria, downtown, Medical Center. Depends on where you want to go.
Well, let's give people an idea. We know that last weekend there were some changes in real estate. So let's just remind people. I think it's pretty simple, but
it is.
Let's remind people, especially if you're a buyer. Right now, if you're a buyer and you want to contact a real estate agent like Jamie Bertrand to help you in the search, and people do it all the time, right, Jamie?
Correct, absolutely.
So what does the buyer need to know now than the last time they may have purchased?
So the NAR settlement took place on August 17th, and depends on if you consider your glass half full or half empty. That's how you would look at it. The primary change that took place is we are no longer able to put compensation or commissions into the MLS. So those fields are removed. Also, the other thing with that is when you sign a buyer's rep agreement, they have a long form and a short form. At first, you would sign a buyer's representation agreement to go see a home. You are kind of binded to that realtor. Now they have a space where you can just offer or ask to tour homes. But the agent does have the discretion to charge to tour the homes if that's all you wanted to do. But you do have to have a buyer's representation agreement before you can go see any home. It's a must.
It's a must. That means you must do it.
You're required.
You are required.
Yes.
So that means if someone wants, in the idea of just looking, let's say at one home, someone said, "Hey, Jamie, I saw these on the internet, and I want to see these two homes."
You have to sign this agreement.
You sign. You're going to have an agreement there that if I don't use your services, say for a bigger search, it can be just for those two particular homes that day, and you might even say, and the charge is X dollars.
Absolutely.
Or the flip side of that is the seller, and correct me if I'm wrong at any point, the seller could also have the commission built in so you don't have to charge me. Would that be safe to say?
I wouldn't say that because we're not allowed to speak on compensation or commissions, but everything is still negotiable. And that's pretty much how this settlement started. Consumers were saying that we were violating antitrust regulations and trying to fix commissions, but commissions have always been negotiable, and basically that's just what.
And they still are.
And they still are. They still are.
So the main thing the buyer needs to know is that the buyer is going to sell has to sign a representation agreement. And we certainly recommend they read the representation agreement so we know the scope of what we're using the realtor, what we're using those services for.
Right.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So how's that going? Have you run into situations where you're using the buyer's rep agreement, and how are people responding to that, Jamie?
Well, it's been 2 days. It took place on the 17th. And I did actually have a buyer who was concerned about how my compensation will be paid because they thought they would have to include that into their closing costs. Now, this is a first-time home buyer. You know, many first-time home buyers don't have a lot of down payment saved up. So the only difference is we're calling realtors now and we're asking, is there compensation on this particular listing?
So it sounds like it's a little bit more work
Just a little bit.
for the real estate professional like yourself.
Yes, just a little bit.
Another piece of paper.
Another piece of paper.
So that sounds exciting. Now, the market let's take the Missouri City, Southwest area here in Houston. How would you describe the market right now for people? How active is it?
So the market, it's again, it's like you just said, is relative, right? It depends on what geographical area you're in. So and price points, you know, I'm seeing a little pause on the over 500s. You know, anything below that are still getting pretty good traction. But when you go beyond that, that's when you start to see a little staleness on the listings. Now, another factor that we are fighting is insurance. It's not just the settlement, it's not just interest rates. Now we have issues with buyers being able to obtain affordable insurance.
Well, that's a key word, affordable.
Affordable.
Again, that's also all relative.
Right.
But and generally speaking, and not in all cases, insurance is going up.
Right.
So we need to be poised as people that purchase insurance to be ready for, and even, as you mentioned, the first-time home buyer or buyers, we have to be ready for to pay a little bit more. So it's a whole nother world here as we're ending 2024, and next year will be a whole nother story. But in the meantime, everything's costing a little bit more.
Not only that, though, I have seen insurance companies denying premiums in certain areas, especially in areas where I am. I'm in Fort Bend County, and I have a buyer actually right now that's buying a home in the coastal county in Brazoria, and they require windstorm insurance. And he had been denied by all of the larger insurance companies. So that prompted me to get on the phone and start calling our politicians, our decision makers at HAR, and I learned during those conversations that there is government-backed insurance. So if anyone is having issues getting insurance, there is government-backed insurance that will insure you for your purchase.
We're talking with Jamie Bertrand. The company is Elite Real Estate Service. Well, Jamie, give us an idea. Also, you mentioned HAR, and before we started recording, you recently you have a new position with HAR. Let's tell people about that, and congratulations on your new position.
Thank you. So I do have a new position, but I am currently the proud chair of the Fort Bend Political Affairs Advisory Leadership Committee for HAR. And the position that I recently ran for is the board of directors for the Southwest region, and I won that. So next year I'll be taking my seat as a new representative for the Southwest.
And that begins January?
January, yes.
And what will your role be? What do you do in that position?
So we are just a voice. We're a voice for the community. We're a voice for our realtor members. We'll be making decisions for roughly 49,000 realtor members of HAR, and we are the governing body. So any motions that the advisory groups set forth, we review them and approve or deny them. We also determine professional development or dues, our membership dues, if they go up or if they stay where they are. That's pretty much what we do. We make the decisions for the association.
As far as relocation, let's tell people And we've talked about it every now and then on the show. People still move to Houston, Texas.
They do.
And we talk about how they move. It comes up whether we want it to or not. They're always moving from California. But today we have a real opportunity because you have a real estate license in California, and you're kind of specializing in some of the movement from Californians to come over here to Texas.
Right.
Let's tell people about that. How many people, are there really that many people still coming from California?
It has slowed down just a little bit, but I can say that the market there is a little different. So people are still, everything is expensive in California. I don't care how high the homes get out here, it's still going to be cheaper than living in California. So we do have a lot of relocation. I actually got my license in 2020. I was relocating people, but I wasn't doing both sides. So when I saw that all these people were coming to me, and I'm from there, FYI. So I have a huge sphere of influence there. And when I had these people coming to me wanting to purchase, homes here, I decided, why don't I get both sides, get my license there so I can list their home, move them here, and have them just make it a turnkey, a one-stop shop so they can only deal with one person and just make their transition easier. I moved here a long time ago from California, so that transition can be a little, difficult, moving from a whole different state. So I wanted to make it easier for my clients.
And that's awesome, too, because you have knowledge of the West Coast,
right,
and you have knowledge here now that you've been here. Correct. What prompted your move from there to here?
I was, family first. I have family in Killeen, military. So I would come and visit them, and I just decided, to come to Houston one weekend, and I ended up loving it and deciding to move here. But the quality of life, the cost of living, my dollar stretched a little further here than it did in California.
Even back then, and certainly, certainly right now.
Yes.
But as far as, and you go to California on a regular basis, so in that, how people know about you in California, what are you doing to market your business to let people know that, hey, if you're in, Orange County or L.A. or something, that they know to call you, Jamie Bertrand,
yes,
right here in Houston?
So there are several ways, actually. The first way, like I said, is a sphere of influence. I have family, friends, classmates out there that refer me. That's number one. Number two, Kevin Davidson with Stewart Title in Sugar Land, he helped me farm certain geographical areas to send out my marketing monthly to people who have like a certain amount of equity, to target sellers. And also I use social media. TikTok has been good for me. It's been beneficial. I do a lot of property tours, and people find me there as well.
Sounds pretty awesome, Jamie. What else should we know before we close this segment?
Well, let's see. Today is a special day. It's a hard day for me as well, because today is my mother's birthday, and I lost my mother in 2012 to breast cancer. And happy birthday, Mom.
And we'll dedicate this show. We say happy birthday, Mom. Yes. Moms are so important,
yes,
indeed, but we dedicate this show to your mom. Her name was?
Delphine Manning.
And did she live in California?
She did, but I moved her here with me.
How about that?
She spent the rest of her life here with me.
And let's tell people, Jamie, if someone wants to reach out to you, whether they're in California, they might even be in New York City listening, or Missouri City, how can they reach you? So
you can reach me. My email is Jamie, Jami, at Texas, spelled out, eliteliving.com. You can also reach me on my social media handles. My social media handles is Jamie Bertrand on Facebook. My number is 713-538-4924. And also you can reach me on the website, www.eliterea.com.
EliteREA.com. The phone number again, Jamie, is
713-538-4924.
Thank you, Jamie Bertrand.
Thank you for having me. So much fun.
As we continue, let's talk to Sean Mirza Beg. His company is called Business Loan Depot. Sean, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much, Bill.
Well, we're glad to have you here, Sean. Let's tell people, Business Loan Depot, what your company does.
We do commercial loans, business loans, startups, SBA loans, small business financing, and we also do residential loans.
And when you say business loans, commercial real estate loans, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when we think about commercial real estate, certainly works hand in hand with the residential world. But here in Houston, now we'll tell people as we unfold here, you have several locations, but let's talk about Houston first, Sean.
Sure.
As far as what are the considerations if someone wants to buy a building and they need a loan, what are those considerations and maybe how are they different from the residential in getting that loan secured?
Yes. In the commercial field, we normally see how that business is secured, how that business is doing. Its financials, its background, the way it's doing, how much money it's making every year, what are their tax filings, stuff like that. So normally we want them to give us like 3 years of tax returns, 3 years of financials, personal financial statement included and stuff like that, so that we can have a global cash flow kind of calculation there. We know that this business is viable for financing. Typically lenders ask about like 1.25, which is very considerable right now because of the fact that the interest rates are very high and businesses are not really good doing their net operating income. They are not very healthy right now because of the interest rates. And
so like the residential world, the commercial loan is higher.
Commercial loan is higher. The prime is right now 8.5 on the commercial side.
So, and then on top of that, we're in a higher interest rate environment, is it safe to say that the commercial loan is higher yet than the residential loan at any given time? Is that true?
Yes, of course.
So there you go. So if you're in the business, you're going to be paying more for the loan that you get from any company.
Of course. And then the lenders charge about some margin there, like 1% or 1 point or 1.5% on top of the prime rate.
So let's tell people about the 3 locations you have, one being here in Houston, but also you're helping people in 2 other markets.
California, which is the Bay Area, San Jose, I have an office there. And then in New York, I have an office in Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New York.
Yes.
So right there, you're mentioning 3 different diverse markets.
Exactly.
No matter what subject we're talking about.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Brooklyn sounds good, though. I haven't been there in a while, but it's a great tourist city and a great area right there in New York City. So as you're covering those 3 markets, which one is the best in terms of the business right now?
Right now, it's Houston. Houston is one of the best markets. It always favors small businesses. It is very good for small businesses. I have seen businesses flourishing here. I have clients since 2003 in commercial arena here in Houston, and they have grown like multiple times because of this market. It is a very viable market here.
And then what's the runner-up in terms of activity?
I think I am still comfortable with doing more business here in Texas because of the fact that we have a lot of people moving here. Like Jamie was telling before, that how people are relocating from California and from other parts of the country. Even in New York, I have clients from New York who are moving here. I have clients from California moving here in business. And I have clients from Atlanta, Georgia, who moved here, actually.
A lot of activity there.
Yeah.
So, but who does more as far as business, New York or your California area?
Texas. But if you compare to
New
York and California, then California is better.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
How about that? Well, let's tell people also, as far as the niche market, is there any market part of the commercial world that you're serving more than others?
I started with doing mostly in convenience stores and gas stations arena. So convenience stores and gas stations, you can say, or truck stops, that's my specialty. I did travel centers, I did truck stops, I did convenience
truck
stores,
stops.
gas stations. Yeah, that's very, very flourishing business, especially in Texas, actually.
So it's interesting if we do any kind of driving, each and every one of us, there's no shortage of convenience stores.
Exactly.
And
still
stations.
they're coming every day, yeah.
And so you're saying that that's a solid market.
Very solid market. Especially during the COVID, they have proven themselves as to be the most viable commercial sector, business profitable sector, because of the fact that they are the only ones who are actually making money, whereas other businesses were badly affected by COVID, but not convenience stores and gas stations.
But as the COVID hopefully is far behind us, or at least in my mind,
Yes.
I'm putting it there. As far as right now, it's still a big, strong area of
Yes.
any business group in commercial.
Exactly. The only problem we are facing right now is like people have, like a lot of people, they are trying to sell their stores, move to a better location, better stores or bigger stores, and they cannot do it because of the fact that they have taken a lot of financing from SBA in EIDL, economic injury disaster loans, and what happens is that they have to pay it off if they want to sell the property. So that's why most of the people, they are not stuck up now, because they thought that it's a grant. They took a lot of EIDL loans from SBA, they took a lot of money from there, and they spent a lot of money on their businesses to improve them. And now they want to like move to a better, bigger store, better location, more viable location. So what happens is now they are stuck up because SBA needs to first pay off that EIDL loan that they took in the tune of $300,000-$400,000. So now I think this is the problem. Plus the other problem which we are facing right now is the appraisal reports, because appraisals are coming low. Like I had a client who applied for a financing for $3 million on a convenience store and gas station, and the appraisal came at 2.45. So he was like $550,000 less, and of course he couldn't buy because of the fact that he will have to put a down payment, at least 20% from the SBA side, plus he has to pay the $550 difference in the appraisal, which he cannot do. So sadly, we could not do that. But there are still, it's a very hot market. A lot of people are doing that. Especially people are doing like ground up constructions. Like they are taking lands now, they're constructing, and they are like Buc-ee's has changed. Like Buc-ee's has changed the scenario of Houston a lot. At first, Houston has no such big stores. They had like mom and pop small stores, but now the whole concept of the industry is changed. Now people are coming with huge stores, with shopping complexes, with fast foods and stuff like that. So the properties are getting more expensive, and they are becoming, of course, more profitable as well at the same time.
I was just at a Buc-ee's a few days ago.
Yes.
The one on the way to San Antonio that they remodeled, and they call it's their largest store in their empire.
Yes.
And it is indeed as massive as is the one in Houston or in Katy. So
Yes.
it's quite a thing, and it's on when we think in our minds, when the term, at least in mine, convenience store, gas station, where you see maybe 2 pumps, maybe 4. So you start there with a smaller,
Yes.
and then here on the other end you have
Yes.
the universe of
Yes.
Buc-ee's, and they do it so well.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, Sean, everywhere in between, from the small to this massive innovator like Buc-ee's, and I don't know what their plans are, but it'd be
Yes.
interesting to see a Buc-ee's in New York State or in Illinois.
Exactly.
Maybe it's
they
on
don't
their
have
boards.
that kind of space there.
But they've changed the kind of like so. There's so many industry leaders that we've experienced these last few decades. But it's interesting that even on the 2 pump convenience store, get a Coke, fill up at a 2 pump or 4 pump. That's such a solid and such a solid backbone type business
Yes.
in our whole United States and maybe other countries.
Yes, that is very true.
Never thought about it like that.
That is very true. That is, at least, a small store can buy your job. Like at least they can pay you a better income on for the family. Like even if suppose a store is doing like $30,000-$40,000 sales, it's not enough. Actually, it's not enough to make money to really make you very, very lucrative. But then it is enough to feed your family. That's the thing.
So it may be an obvious question, but if I'm applying for a loan for a building, and I tell you, the loan person, that I want to have a convenience store, or if I said I want to have a donut shop, you they look at the type of business and they might look more favorably if I want the convenience store gas station versus if I want to have a
No,
donut
the donut
shop.
shops typically are there at the convenience store as well, because if you
Well,
look
that's
at
right.
a lot of convenience stores, they have donut shops. I have seen Subways. I've actually sold stores which have Subways, which has KFCs, which have a lot of other
The fast food,
laundromats.
sure,
Yes,
right.
fast food and stuff like that.
All right, let me make it a dry cleaners then. Okay, so
Yeah.
convenience store, gas station versus a dry cleaner, they're going to like the convenience store.
Absolutely,
I'm
anytime.
going to get the money easier, probably.
Anytime. And
Generally.
dry cleaners, they have one problem, which is very
And there's a lot of
consideration-
environmental
environmental
considerations.
concerns. Exactly.
Right,
Exactly.
disposal and things
Yes,
like that.
yes.
So, I think I'm going to be opening up a convenience store, gas station. And I'm going to call it Radio Bills. Check it out. I'm going to undercut all the gas prices in town. That's my model. I don't know if it's going to work. So in the meantime, Sean, before we close this segment, what else you want people to know about what you're doing?
Well, we do really business startups. My main objective is to help people grow, in the sense that if you are in business, if you want some financing, if you want to, invest money, that's one thing that you can do. And especially in Houston, it's a huge market. It's a very good market for lots of stuff. People are doing, let me tell you, I have clients approaching me for loans for senior living right now. A lot of senior living, facilities are opening up in Texas, and those people are approaching me right now. We had a lot of convenience stores before as well, and now convenience store is never a dying business. But then I did some hotels, I did some motels, financing, and did travel plaza, truck stops, stuff like that. I think multifamily is also growing up right now, plus also the senior living, assisted living. I did a lot of RV parks as well, and they are very good business. So basically anything you do commercial in Texas or Houston, that's growing. Even in New York. New York mostly has mixed buildings, like commercial as well as residential, but mostly commercial in the sense that the first floor is, you have seen in Brooklyn, a lot of buildings there, and they are like, first floors are like laundromats or dry cleaners or whatever, donut shops or whatever, but then they have multi-tenant buildings upstairs, like second, third floor, fourth floor, they have residential rentals there.
Well, Sean, let's tell people how to reach you, Sean Mirza Beg, Business Loan Depot.
You can reach me by my cell number, 346-387-4393, and my office number is 713-505-3940. We are located in Houston, Texas, right in the middle of Hillcroft and 59. And then we have an office in California, San Jose, and I have an office in Brooklyn, New York, so anywhere.
The cell phone again is?
346-387-4393.
Thank you so much, Sean Mirza Beg.
Thank you, sir.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance. With a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers, Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance. Hey, John.
Hi, Bill. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Well, likewise. So here we are, insurance time again. I think we've already heard the word insurance once or twice in this show already because it's on everybody's mind.
It is. You can't,
You can't
listen
go
to a news report or pick up the newspaper without somebody having an opinion.
or even just saying the word insurance because it's all around us. And that's also why people love this segment every week, not just here in Houston, but far beyond.
Well, we appreciate that, and we enjoy bringing the segment and the show each week. And I was looking at some of the trends that we're seeing. You know, there are a lot of folks that either bought during the pandemic at those extremely low interest rates, or they refinanced. So many of them are not really interested in selling because of that, the good rate that they have. But maybe their home is starting to not quite meet their needs. So they're looking at doing some remodeling, whether it be a room or adding a room, and then we're also seeing more investors come into the marketplace where they're buying a home and improving it to make it an investment property, or they're buying a home, they're improving it, and then they're selling it. So I thought it would be of value to our clients to talk a little bit today about builder risk plans. So builder's risk insurance would come into play if you had bought a home and you were going to upgrade it and then turn on and sell it, or if you were going to buy a home and you upgraded it in order to have it rented out to have it be an investment property. During that construction period or that remodeling period, that's when a builder's risk plan could come into play.
And these things are happening all the time, especially right here in Houston, Texas.
Well, they really are, and they're both, you can write builder's risk for individuals, for homeowners, and you can also write it for organizations. And in general, it's going to cover materials, it's going to cover fixtures, and it's going to cover equipment that's being installed during the construction or during the renovation.
Well, what are the things we should know about these things?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that we need to take in consideration. Specifically for today, we're going to talk a little bit about the homeowner themselves. So what do they need to keep in mind? So the first thing that they need to do is if they're considering doing this type of work, there's some data points that we would need to capture in order to put together a builder's risk plan. So we would need to know what the total estimated completed value would be. So that's taking a look at basically all the costs that would be associated with the reconstruction, with the renovation. So everything from building, design work, labor, overhead, materials. And if there's going to be a profit as part of that, then you would want to incorporate the profit into that. If you're having somebody doing the work for you, who is that builder? We would need to know that. What's the type of project? How many are you anticipating doing in the next 12 to 18 months? Because many times the type of coverage that we would consider is based upon the number of construction projects that you would do within a 12-month period. So in most cases, if you're doing 4 or less, then that would be the type of property that we would coverage that we would take a look at. So that's important to know. And then obviously where the construction is being performed.
Lots of things to think about. Anytime we buy a house, insurance, get a loan, we better have our documents ready. So I'm going to say, just in life, it's always a good idea to be ready. Have your important documents lined up for your personal needs and your business needs.
Yeah, what is the saying? If you're ready, you don't have to get ready?
I haven't heard. Is that an Aggie saying?
It probably is. Probably is, yes.
That's a good one.
Yes. But if you're an owner and you're not going to do more than 4, let's say, projects in a year, there's what's called a single one-shot plan. And that would be the coverage that you would take a look at. And that would cover elements like if there's any damage to the property. So let's say you were adding a room on, property damage, theft, if there was vandalism, fire and lightning, collapse or windstorms, that's where that would come into play. And in some cases, you can add additional perils or elements that would be covered, like, if a material was damaged in transit, or if the material was damaged while it was being held someplace temporarily before it got to your home for the project. Debris removal, scaffolding, if there was a backup in the water line or the sewer line. So those types of coverages, those types of perils would be covered in that builder's risk policy.
And also, as we think about helping people right here in Houston, Texas, I think in different areas of the country, too, there's other considerations as we go around, and especially when, for some reason, you triggered that idea when you said moving debris and things. I don't know, but every area is different, so the needs are different.
They are, and the company is going to take a look at, the insurance company is going to take a look at what that market's like, the type of work you're doing, who's doing the work, and like I said, they're going to take a look at that total estimated completed value, so they'll have a feel for what that is. And then those things will drive what the coverage will be provided and then what the premium or the cost of the insurance would be.
Fascinating. What are the other things we should know about this, John?
Well, I think if you are in that situation where you've decided that maybe I'm not ready to move, but I need to add a room or I need to remodel my kitchen, that have a conversation with your insurance advisor about builder's risk coverage and what's available, what's out there. So you get a feel so you are protected, because what we would hate to have happen is if you invested a lot of money in the materials and they were damaged or they were stolen or they were vandalized, and then suddenly you're having to replace, all those materials. At least if you had the coverage, that would help with that cost, offsetting some of that exposure. So if that's something that's of interest, we would be happy to help you that. We've got a team that works on builder's risk plans all the time. We'd be happy to work with you as well, just as we work with families and individuals on their personal insurance, or it's their home, their wind, their auto, flood. We talked earlier about windstorm, and we've got windstorm coverage, or we can work people with TWIA to get them to that coverage if that's the last resort, as well as in additional commercial and business insurance plans, errors and omissions, cyber liability, general liability, workers' compensation, cyber.
And you mentioned an acronym, TWIA. I can guess what that stands for.
Texas Windstorm Insurance Association.
I was right.
You were right.
TWIA.
TWIA.
I like the sound of that.
Yes.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. So they are the source of last resort for wind coverage. So if you've been denied by two or more insurance companies and you live in one of 14 coastal counties or southern Harris County, then that's an option that you have for wind coverage.
Yeah, I said it before, too. That Hurricane Beryl, when it came through, I was looking out my window at 3 a.m., 3:30, and I realized I'm not so much worried about water rising as I was about the wind, as the trees were moving in ways that were disturbing to me, John.
Yeah, it was the same in my neighborhood. That we would get thunderstorms that would come through, but they would be heavy but short, but the wind never stopped. It just blew and blew and blew, and I had the same thing looking out the window, and there's a big palm tree right outside, and it was a little concerning about that.
Exactly. So now when I see wind, I'm going to think TWIA.
TWIA, yes.
whether I want to or not. Well, also, generally speaking, we've already mentioned many cities on this show, at least 3 that I can think of right now. But we're reminding people at this moment, if you need the help of Stewart Insurance, you're right there helping all the states right here in the United States.
So we can help folks in California. We can help folks here in Texas. We can help folks in Brooklyn, New York. So we have clients all over the U.S.
That's right. People could reach out to Stewart Insurance simply by
866-798-2827. Our toll-free number is 866-798-2827. They can learn more about us at stewartinsurance.com, or they can email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
Sounds good, John. And anything else we need to know, as we have about another 30 seconds or so?
I think just the idea of it's important to be properly insured with all the changes that we're seeing in the marketplace. The most important thing is whether you have a very conservative plan or a very robust plan, that you understand what is and is not covered. Because that's a concern I have right now, is because of some coverages, decisions are being made because of personal finances, and I understand that. As long as you understand what you do and don't have, then you're properly insured. What I'm afraid of is people are making a decision solely on the cost and they don't know what coverage they have. They file a claim and suddenly find out the claim is denied. So that's the thing. It's just making sure you understand what coverage you do and you do not have.
And I would think right now, as anything, when a price goes up or pricing fluctuates on anything, and it's something, and I think for many of us, like insurance, it was one of those things where, oh, let's just renew the policy, or it's time for renewal. Now, as things are more pricing sensitive, we're starting to say, hey, I think I need to learn more about insurance coverage for my own personal needs or my business needs. And of course, you couple that with a potential listener that tunes in every week. So now they have the ammunition, I think, more than ever to be properly insured.
Well, I hope folks are taking that tact, that they are recognizing because there's an issue with the increase in premiums, and that we're all facing that, and it's affecting us all, that they do take a greater interest in their coverage. Because that's, again, my fear is if you're not familiar with what is and is not covered, and you solely made a decision based on premium, and you file a claim, let's say, for water damage, then you don't have water damage coverage, or the sublimit is so low that it's not going to fully cover the repairs or the damage caused by the water, then suddenly there's an issue.
There you go, John. just for good measure, the phone number again is
866-798-2827.
Thank you so much, John Bramlett with
Thank you,
Stewart
Bill.
Insurance. As I mentioned, we have business development people all over Houston, Texas, many of them, and also all over the United States. Right now, I present to you Kevin Davidson. We've already heard Kevin's name on the show already, but here he is in person, Kevin Davidson. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bill, how you doing today?
Well, here you are. People talking about you, even on the radio, all over it's
as long
amazing.
as it's good, Bill, it's all good.
And
as
it
long as
usually,
it's good.
90% of the time, it is.
Yeah, well, I was going to go 85, but you're good.
No, that's
Thanks
exactly
for the extra
right.
5%.
Well, as people listen, they've heard your name before. Let's tell people again the offices that you serve for Stewart Title.
I am the business development officer for Stewart Title in Sugar Land, which is right off of Dairy Ashford and 59, and the Richmond office, which is right off of 59 and 762, or also known as Thompson Road.
Well, as far as the business that's going on right now in those areas, I think the Southwest has always been a robust and a very steady area. Let's tell people, from your perspective at Stewart Title, how things are going.
Yeah, it's up until, I don't want to bring this back up, but up until the hurricane, we were really doing well. We were going and blowing and everything, and the hurricane hit. And so for a couple weeks there, it, kind of leveled off and everything. And then 2 weeks ago, we were really, really busy. And then last week, it was back to an average week. So it's steady, not like we'd like it to be, of course, always, but it's steady.
Well, one of the things that happens in your offices, a lot of things do other than closing real estate transactions. You're conducting a lot of classes. Most of our business development people are, but you're doing classes. You have a lot of realtors in and out of the door, but you're also helping people on an individual basis. Let's tell people about that value added that people can get from our Stewart Title business development people.
Yeah, there's a lot of value that you can get from our business development officers all over the city. Each one is individual and different in what they offer. I myself, I create and get TREC approved continuing education classes. They're all marketing related. I have 9 of them. And then most of the time when people attend my classes, they would, a lot of them want to sit with me one-on-one. I will actually sit down and help a real estate agent learn how to market their business and learn marketing channels that will help grow their business one-on-one. And I meet with 2 to 3 agents every single day.
That's right. And marketing is in your blood. I know.
Yeah, I graduated from University of Houston with a marketing degree, and I've been helping companies, specifically property management companies, until I got to Stewart Title, grow their business since the year 2000 when I graduated.
And it's interesting, too, the way you're helping the real estate professionals, because each one's different, and also their entry into the market is different. Some have been on board as real estate professionals for 20 years, 5 years. Some are new. So you have the skills where you're helping each level, skill level, we'll say.
The new agents or the agents that have been around for a few years but haven't quite figured it out yet are the ones that really like the help and seek me out. The top producers are top producers, so they don't necessarily need the help. But when they get to a point to where there's something specific, or they learn something new that they've never seen before, that's when I get phone calls from them. But you're right, I can help everybody.
And let's give people a word also. The team in your offices at Stewart Title, Sugar Land, Fort Bend, it's a stellar team.
Yeah, a combined 3 escrow officers, over 70 years experience. Caitlin Kornick is the branch manager in Sugar Land. She does a great job. There's not a question she can't answer, not a contract she can't close. Devin is just smiley, very nice, very personable, great with people. Knows all the answers. And then Wendy Santana over in the Richmond office has also got lots of experience. She's been managing the office herself for a while with 2 other team members. And again, she's very knowledgeable on pretty much anything you bring us.
Sounds awesome. Also, you have a little podcast. It's called
Kevin's Corner, Real Estate from a Marketing Perspective.
So people can go to the YouTube channel, go to the search field, Kevin's Corner. It comes right up.
Yeah, Kevin's Corner, both spelled with a K, not a C. But yeah, Kevin's Corner, Real Estate from a Marketing Perspective, comes right up.
And if someone wants to reach you, Kevin Davidson, what should they do?
They can call me at 832-654-0527 or reach out to me via email, kevin.davidson@stewart.com.
The phone number again is
832-654-0527.
Thank you so much, Kevin. And now,
Thank
Juliana Bareford is with us. She represents another dynamic Stewart Title office. It is Stewart Title Kirby Grove in the heartbeat of the Loop right there in Houston, Texas, the center of our fourth largest city. Juliana, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bill. It's good to be here.
It's in the heartbeat of the whole city, isn't it?
It is right there, yes.
That's right. It's like if you look at the center of Houston and we have loops that go around, the 610 loop, Beltway 8, we're right there, right where the heart is.
Right where the heart is.
It's an awesome place. Let's tell people about your office.
Well, we have 3 closers. We do a lot of commercial, residential, and hopefully refis soon when the rates go back down. We've probably got about 80 years combined experience with our closers. Sanford Real, she does commercial, residential, and she's been in the business for over 35 years.
The real deal.
The real deal. And she's very knowledgeable. And then we have Lauren Reed. She's our branch manager, and she does also commercial and residential. And then we have Deanna Jurisic, and she does residential, but she also speaks Spanish if anybody needs that.
That's awesome. So much. And the thing when this experience comes into play with the real estate transactions, each transaction is different. And as we talk about these superstars that you're mentioning, escrow officers at Kirby Grove, they have seen so many different kinds of transactions.
Yeah, they have.
And so as things change and this vast experience, they're able to handle the transactions in a magnificent way with each and every closing.
Yeah, they are, and they collaborate a lot. You know, they work together as a team. The assistants are fantastic. We have a receptionist that we just hired that we love, and we have a funder that joined us.
What's her name?
Her name is Simone. This is her second week, so she's doing great, learning a lot. And then we have a funder that just came over from our Katy office. She just got back from maternity leave, so we're happy to have her as well.
So things are running just like a Swiss watch.
Just like a Swiss watch.
Or depending on your liking, a German watch. They make fantastic. Of course, the Japanese too, but that's another story. In the meantime, and we mentioned the classes.
Yep.
Classes are one of the things that are kind of like at each of our offices. It's one of the dynamic things that happens on a regular basis. You too have many classes.
Yeah, and I would say my most popular right now, we did a class last week on the new listing agreement, the buyer's representation agreement. We had like 38 people in the classroom there. Legal 1, Legal 2 is always busy. And then I've got some inspectors that are teaching some different topics that also draw a good crowd. And then I'll meet one-on-one with agents to help them with farming and their marketing as well.
As I say, stay close to your Stewart Title business development person wherever you are and wherever they are. Juliana, let's tell people how they can reach you.
Yeah, my cell phone is 832-296-7666. Again, 832-296-7666. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you so much. And now she is back, Jamie Bertrand. Her company is called Elite Real Estate Service. Jamie, welcome back.
Thank you.
Well, here you are.
Happy to be back.
A closing thought. Let's tell people what else you want them to know about what you're doing. You're helping the people again here in Southwest Houston.
Southwest Houston.
You're bringing them from California.
I'm bringing them from California, but I'm also bringing them from other parts of Texas as well. So if you're relocating from Austin, Dallas, doesn't matter. We can relocate you.
So you're getting people that want to leave Austin and be here in Houston?
No, but if you want to, we can help you with that.
You can do that. So you're getting
we can do that.
Some of your California people are going to Austin.
Yeah, we do have a lot of Californians going to Austin or Dallas.
Do you have anyone leave Texas to go to California recently?
Ooh, no.
So for right now, it's a one-way.
It's a one-way.
So that U-Haul
one-way ticket.
They're dropping it off right here.
Yes, right here.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, if you were to predict, how long do you see this California migration take place based on what you know? And you know a lot.
Well, thank you for that vote of confidence. I think it's going to take place for some time. I mean, again, it's still, regardless of what our price increases look, we still have a great economy here in Texas.
Jamie Bertrand, let's tell people how they can reach you.
At 713-538-4924. That is directly to me, or you can go to my website, www.eliteoffice.com. REA.com, and reach me there as well.
Phone number again is?
713-538-4924.
You mentioned TikTok. Do you use Facebook as well?
I do. I use Facebook, but for video purposes, because video goes a long way these days, I do that on TikTok and YouTube.
I hear you're a hit on that TikTok, too.
Oh, I'm all right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jamie.
Thank you.
He's back as we close the show. His name is Sean Mirza Beg. Okay, Sean, so let's tell people what else you want them to know before we close the show.
I think this is the time when you should be thinking about refinancing your homes because the interest rates are dropping. And this is definitely, I would call the refinancing boom coming up. My company is right now partnered with the UWM as broker to United Wholesale Mortgage. And we are geared up for bringing your rates down substantially. Like if you have purchased your home somewhere during this high interest rate during the last 2 years, so this is the time when you can refinance and your homes and get into a better rate.
So be on the lookout for the opportunity to refinance.
This is the time.
This is the time.
Yes.
Okay, Sean, let's tell people how they can reach you. Again, the company is called Business Loan Depot.
Yes, sir. My company is called Business Loan Depot. I am located in Houston, Texas. My number is 713-505-3940, and my cell number is 346-387-4393.
Sean, thank you so much. Thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I am your host, Bill Knapik, together with John Bramlett, all of us at Stewart Title and Stewart Insurance. We appreciate you listening. That's right, show number 533. If you want to see the guests, you want to go to a past show, simply go to stewart.com/radio. That's stewart.com/radio. It's that easy. If you want help with your real estate transaction, I know you want to close at any of our Stewart Title offices right here in Houston. There's at least 15, 16, 17 last count. Simply go to stewart.com. That's right, stewart.com. A lot of great stuff right there on the website. Or if you're outside of the Houston area, we are an international company traded on the New York Stock Exchange as STC. Reach out to us again, stewart.com. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
In today's litigious society, it is imperative to have the proper insurance to offset the many risks facing your business, especially if you're a real estate broker. Your errors and omissions and cyber liability insurance can help limit the threat of these risks if you know what to look for. Not sure if your insurance addresses the risks facing your business? Contact Stewart Insurance to be confident your brokerage can withstand these risks. Stewart Insurance, 866-798-2827. StewartInsurance.com. That's StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit StewartInsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
When it comes to real estate, everything matters. Whether you're a broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, for informative and entertaining information when it comes to owning, buying, and selling real estate, tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance.